So, yeah, I've done a little bit of work between sessions. The biggest thing that I've done really is I've cut out these little 5x5 holes for sifting. I cut out this one on the left to fit in all of these sieves here, and then I just cut out the other one to make it symmetrical. I don't know if I'm going to stick with this design. Obviously, this is very bare bones. I haven't done any decorating. I haven't tried to make the cave look nice at all yet. Mostly, I've just squared it off a bit. I've got rid of some of the straggly ends and tried to make it a bit more square for the time being. And the thing I've done the most of is sifting. I've spent a lot of time just sat here sifting away, sifting some gravel, some sand, and some dust. I did go ahead and upgrade 6 or 7 even of our meshes here to iron stiffened meshes, so that we can get a little bit of extra stuff. Originally, I was just sifting with the flint stiffened mesh, but if you look at the like the sifting outcomes, like what you can get from sifting, you really don't start to get any of the good stuff until you start sifting with that iron stiffened mesh. Like here with the string mesh, you get a few basic ores with some flint and some coal, and then if we go over to the flint stiffened mesh, you'll see it doesn't really change. I think the odds just get a little bit better, like it goes up to 40% from I think 30 as well on the string mesh. Yeah. But then if you bump it up to the iron stiffened mesh, you start to get things like coal and lapis and diamonds and emeralds, and you bump the percentages up even more as well. And so iron stiffened meshes are really kind of where it's at. So I did that, did a bunch of sifting. We've got a little bit of lapis, a little bit of redstone, a little bit of glowstone, 2 diamonds, 2 emeralds, some Certus quartz if you want to get into a little bit of applied energistics, which I don't think we're going to do in today's stream, but it's nice to have nonetheless. So what I want to work on in today's stream, a couple of things. The first thing that I want to work on is I kind of want to work on trying to auto-sift this setup over here. I want to replace quite a few of these meshes, as many as we can, with the iron stiffened meshes, and then hopefully get to a point where we can kind of just put stuff into probably a mechanical user is what we're going to go with from Extra Utilities 2. This is going to allow us to kind of use it to act like a player and sift for us, continuously right click, sifting hopefully 25 like gravel, sand, or dust at a time. That's the plan at least, and then automatically outputting that into a chest. If possible, I'd also like to get to the point where all of our ore pieces are being automatically crafted into the ore chunks and then hopefully automatically smelted as well. I did contemplate using the smeltery for this, but because of the way that the smeltery will automatically create alloys with any ingots that will mold together, we probably won't be using the smeltery to do the ore doubling. But I've got a plan, never you fear. Also, if we head on over to our mob spawning area, the mob spawner has been chugging away whilst I've been sifting, getting us a bunch of mob drops. And we do, in fact, have, for one, we've got like a ton of loot bags. We've got way too many freaking loot bags. But the good news is that we have 64 rotten flesh, we have got 16 bones, and we have got 4, I think maybe 5 ender pearls. I'm trying to think of there it is, the quest complete. It might have only been 4 ender pearls, but it was something like that. It was 4 ender pearls, but that does mean we have another loot chest. You can see here the quest for creating the iron stiffened mesh is also done. I'm going to go ahead and grab that as well. Let's take a peek at this stuff here. So we've got 3 more of those resonant upgrades. Very nice indeed. Again, not too useful just yet, but could be quite useful in the future. Another diamond shield. Okay, that's not the best, but that's fine. But that does lead me to another thing. I do want to probably craft up the loot bag opener today as well. Like, we've got the loot recycler, which I believe turns loot back into loot bags, but I'm pretty sure that there is also a loot bag opener. Yeah, this guy over here, the bag opener, should allow us to kind of automatically pump loot bags into it and then automatically open them and then, filter out any loot that we might want to keep. I'm not quite sure if there is anything in the loot bags that we are going to want to keep at this point. I haven't really gone through and checked what we can get out of these. And so I'm not quite sure what we're going to get. Also, they do seem a little hard to open. They take a few clicks. I don't know if that's kind of like the loot bag randomly generating what's going to be inside of it or not, but I don't know. We got a wing charm, gives slow fall after 6 blocks. All right, we got a mana in a bottle. It has an acquired taste. We got 2 slime balls and we got some copper ingots. All right, I'm going to throw that back in there for now, and I think we might start with that actually. Let me see here. The loot bag opener here is not all too hard to make. It's 7 stone, 1 iron ingot, and 1 chest. So there's a loot bag storage. You should look it up. Loot bag. I'm guessing it's not called loot bag storage. At loot. Is it this? Ooh, bag storage. Press shift for more info. This block is capable of storing most loot bags and convert between different configured types. It will save its contents when broken. That does seem quite interesting, actually. I'm not sure though, like if we're going to use the bag opener, do we want to store our loot bags or do we just want to kind of automatically open them as we go, right? Like I feel like the loot bag opener might be a better option, maybe? I'm going to try making this first because it doesn't seem all that hard for us to do. It just requires a standard chest, which we should be able to make, as well as some iron, which I'm fairly certain we've already got. We do, as well as a little bit of stone, which, if memory serves me right, I might have in a furnace. Let me check real quick. I've got 1 stone there. Did I start smelting up a little bit of stone over here? I think I did, but I might have used it to fix up some of the floor a little bit here because I did replace, like, the rice farm. I got rid of that just to try and tidy things up a little bit. And so we'll wait for that to finish, and then we'll craft up our first loot bag opener. And then, yeah, we'll start on the auto sifting. I don't think there are too many quests here still to complete. We do have this Cobblestone Generator Tier 2, which I have yet to complete, even though we do have a Tier 2 Cobblestone Generator. And so if I just quickly pick this guy up and detect/submit, that should go ahead and give us the rewards for that guy as well. Let me see here. I'm assuming that is another loot chest. It is indeed. Hopefully something great. 12 more epic bacon. Nice. I keep forgetting that I have epic bacon because I've been using, for the most part, I have been using the cooked apples as my main and only source of food, but we don't have any trees and we don't have a tree farm. And so getting apples is becoming a little bit difficult. And that is something else I do want to work on in today's stream. I was thinking between episodes, like where I'm going to put my trees, if I want to dig out an area to grow trees, all that kind of stuff. And then I remembered that we can just set up a ton of bonsai pots, right? There's no need for me to designate a large area of space to farming trees when we can just set up multiple hopping bonsai pots with, for example, like apple trees in them as opposed to maybe spiderweb trees like we've got here, and then just get a ton of wood, a ton of sticks, a ton of saplings, and a ton of apples as well, all at once. And so I think we are going to do that today. We're going to set up a couple of bonsai pots with hopefully apple saplings from Pam's Harvest Craft, just so we have like a nice stable source of food. You'll see here, I do have a little bit of rice bread. I did use quite a bit of the rice that we had left over after making the vector plates in the last stream. I used quite a bit of that for making rice bread just because we were running quite low on apples. But nevertheless, let me go ahead and craft up a bag opener here. And so I'm pretty sure all we need to do is just pump the loot boxes, the loot bags, into the bag opener, right? If we take like a few loot bags here and we just plop them in like so, it's just going to go ahead and automatically open those loot bags for us and dump their inventory into this bottom section. I think this bar here might be new. I'm fairly certain that like in previous versions, or at least when I played this in Project 2002, I don't think that we ended up, that it had like a bar like this where it used to take a few seconds to open. Does it take longer to open like epic loot bags? It doesn't seem so. That's pretty good, I guess. We got some golden leggings. We got a Spectre Coil NR number 135, generates 128 RF a tick. What the heck is that all about? A Spectre Coil. Can I put this down? Or is this like a... Does this go in something? Generates 128 RF per tick and outputs it into the block it's attached to that can be found in dungeon chests. So do I just put this onto the side of a block and it just produces redstone flux for me? The bar was there? Oh, that's my bad then, I guess. So can I just, if I find like a machine that requires redstone flux, can I just slap this on the side and it will just produce power? So my thought process here, what I'm thinking of is I want to mix it up a little bit. You know, of course, we could make a sag mill and an alloy smelter. We could make a redstone furnace and a pulverizer to process our ores, right? We could put them directly into the Tinker's Construct smeltery. But I want to do something a little bit different. And so I think what I'm going to do is use a Magma Crucible from Thermal Expansion to process all of our ores. You can put the ore chunks directly into the Magma Crucible. And then just like the Thermal Expansion, by that I mean Tinker's Construct smeltery, it will double the output. So you put one ingot in, you'll get 288 millibuckets worth of liquid ore out. And then you can, in fact, put the Tinker's Construct faucet, or I guess also if you want to, you could use some kind of fluid duct into a casting table with an ingot cast, or if you wanted to, into a casting basin to make a block of that ingot, and then automatically pull that out and stick it into like a storage drawer or something like that. And so instead of having to have two machines, or instead of trying to filter everything into multiple different Tinker's Construct smelteries, we can push everything into one Magma Crucible, speed that Magma Crucible up just a little bit with the upgrades from Thermal Expansion, and by the looks of it, maybe power it just with this Spectre Coil that gives us free power, maybe? Potentially? And I guess maybe later on we could upgrade it to go faster and then set up some kind of power generation at that point if we needed it. So, what is the first thing I want to work on? I'm not quite sure why that chest, that loot bag ended up there, but that's fine. And also, how am I going to pump this out? Because we've got a lot of stuff here, a lot of like loot, but I don't know precisely how we're going to use this loot. We also got an engraved thunder. Charge and launch lightning orbs. Okay, how far does it... Oh boy, all right. I mean, I don't know how useful that's going to be. That seems actually quite dangerous. I'm very close to dying, and so I'm going to put that away for my own safety more than anything else. I'm just going to whack that back into... Oh, I can't put it back in here? All right, I guess I'll put it in my normal chest for now. At the current moment, I have yet to die on the server, which is a fact that I'm quite proud of. If we look at our deaths and we look at number of deaths, there are quite a few people. You know, I am one of the few who currently have 0 deaths. I'm going to try and maintain that for as long as possible. You know, deaths per hour, I'm down there at 0. You know, freaking Harlan Games, Dobby Tucky, Isaac, you're all up there on the deaths per hour number, topping the leaderboard there. I want to try and keep that, my deaths per hour, as low as I possibly can, preferably at 0. And so I actually think one of the first things I might do in today's episode is get a little bit of armor. Once we got some armor, we'll probably start working on setting up a mechanical user, get some grid power, maybe start to put some of our speed upgrades to use. We do have like 16 of these upgraded speed modules that we can put to make things a little bit faster. That does require a little bit more grid power, but really shouldn't be something that's too hard for us to do. I do not wish to pull out... No, please stop. Please stop. I do not wish to pull out that aluminium brass. Unfortunately, that is going to go to waste there because we don't have a way just yet of pulling that back out. But nevertheless, let's do something like this and just pull out the ingots for now. That should be fine. And one cool thing that I learned between episodes from the comment section is that there is a special hotkey in this pack. So if you're going to play this and you want to be able to, you know, you've got to go through and you've got to compress a lot of ingots, a lot of blocks up, you know, cobblestone, gravel, sand, dust, dirt. All of those need to be compressed, placed down, hammered over and over and over again. And it turns out I made this portable crafting table in the last episode, but in fact, if you just hover over the block that you want to compress and press K, it will just compress it for you into a stone crafting table. Wait, what? K. Why is that making... Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait, hold on, what? That's making crafting... Hold on. What? If I press it over the dirt, K? Wait, what? Can I please turn these back to... Oh, I can craft... I didn't know I could do that. Wait. When I tested that between streams, I'm pretty sure that it crafted them... It's just crafting so many crafting tables. I'm pretty sure when I tested that between streams, like if I take sand, maybe sand will work? I thought that it crafted it into... You need to do it in a 3x3. Really? So do I have to have this open and then press K? Ah, okay. So that made me... Ah, all right. I mean, that's not the greatest. I guess it's still easier. So if I open up my crafting table on a stick and then press K, it will compress those automatically into compressed cobblestone. That does make it, I guess, a little bit faster. It's still not quite as fast as I would like. You still have to open the crafting table on a stick. I guess it is technically faster than like what I was doing, which was doing like this, and then this, and then this, and then clicking again. So it does take away a couple of steps, but still, now that we've got 49 stone crafting tables that we don't need, I mean, that's just fantastic. So we'll get rid of some of the stuff here that we don't need to be carrying around with us, at least not for the time being. I'm really interested in trying out this Spectre Coil here, and so I think once we've got ourselves a little bit in the way of iron armor, just to make sure that we're not going to die, hopefully we're not going to die at least in today's stream, I think the first thing that I'm going to make is... I don't know. I want to make Magma Crucible, but I feel like it makes no sense to make the Magma Crucible first. I think the thing that we should probably make first is the mechanical user. And to make that, we need to get ourselves one resonating redstone crystal, which is 4 redstone, and 1 ender shard. The ender shard can be made by crafting an ender pearl with a glass cutter, which is very easily made with some iron and a stick. And then we just need 1 lever and then 1 vanilla Minecraft dropper, simply cobblestone and redstone. Really shouldn't be too hard for us to do whatsoever. So we'll grab some redstone, we'll grab the little bit in the way of ender pearls, aka 1 ender pearl, despite the fact that we've already got 6, and so I'm going to put pretty much all of those back for the time being. So let's grab the iron, let's finish up our set of armor here. We'll get some boots. Probably not the best armor, honestly, for us to make, the iron armor. There might be better armor, but this should do us just fine for the time being. Also, Shift K will compress all. Really? So like everything that's compressible. So let me try like this. If I craft up like you, will it craft like, when you say that, like if I press K on these oak wooden planks, is it going to compress those into crafting tables? It is. Okay, so if I open this up and I press Shift K, is it going to craft, what does Shift K do? Because like K crafts up, oh, is it all, it doesn't mean all of the one thing. So like if I had multiple stacks of cobblestone, for example, and I press Shift K, I keep doing it. I really should stop doing it outside of the the freaking crafting table so we can stop making those things. Ah, yeah, so there it took cobblestone from both sets of cobblestone and crafted it up there. We are now up to a lovely stack and 16 cobblestone crafting tables. Can I use these for like anything at all? It does look like they are some form of fuel, which I guess is quite nice. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense that you can use stone crafting tables for fuel, but that's actually really cool. The fact that you can just turn cobblestone into a stone crafting table and then use that as a fuel for making like stone. That's really neat, actually. I like that. I like that a lot. But anyway, now that we've messed that up and now that we're burning stone away in the background, let's see if we've got what it takes to make our first mechanical user. So first things first, we're going to need to get ourselves a glass cutter, craft up that glass cutter with our ender pearl, craft up that ender pearl shard there with some redstone. You do get 8 uses out of that one ender pearl there, so we could make 8 resonating redstone crystals if we wanted to. Vanilla dropper is super easy, and then a lever, of course, is not too bad whatsoever, as long as you do indeed have all of the required items to craft it. Let's go ahead and grab a lever, and then finally whack all that together into a mechanical user. And I'm fairly certain that if I throw this down right about here, I think I might have to place it like from... So it looked like it placed itself down towards me. So if I jump and place this, will it place it down the way I want it to face? No, I need to place it down from the bottom and point up. So maybe like... Probably shouldn't use sand here to do that. If I go... I think I do need to put it here, right? Like if I do this... Yeah, so that works. Okay, it's going to be a little bit tricky for me to get out of here, but this should work just fine. Obviously, we don't have that much in the way of iron stiffened mesh just yet, and so this mechanical user is only going to sift in the iron stiffened mesh sieves. It's not going to sift in all of them until we upgrade the rest of them to also have iron stiffened meshes. And also, before I put you down, I should quickly throw our iron stiffened mesh into there. Kapow, kaboom. Good stuff. So now, if we set this to, I think use item on block is the one we want. We want to right click, and if I put, for example, a little bit of sand in there, is that going to work? No, it's not going to work. So many derps per minute. I do try. Like, my goal here is to, is it just activate item with block? There we go. Oh, it's so slow. It's so very slow. Like, it's not crazy, but it's like, it's so very slow. So there we go, that now works, and we are sifting sand. We are sifting sand incredibly slowly. I'm going to take the sand out of there for now because that is extremely slow, and we also currently don't have any kind of setup in place to actually collect all of those drops. That's something that shouldn't really be too hard for us to do. We did look at the recipe for a vacuum hopper. This one, I think right here is the one we want from Open Blocks, simply because it's a bit cheaper than the one from, what's this one from? Mob Grinding Utilities. This one requires a little bit more in the way of obsidian, as compared to the vacuum hopper from Open Blocks, although this one, I know for a fact, sucks up XP, although I'm fairly certain that the one from Open Blocks does as well, but it doesn't matter because we're not going to be getting any XP from sifting here, so XP or not, it really doesn't matter which one we use, and thus we might as well go for the cheaper of the two. So, now we've got that. One thing that I do want to try and get up and running is these speed modules. We've got 16 of them, and if we can get just a few into the mechanical user here, it should make our lives a little bit easier and should end up sifting things just a heck of a lot faster, right? Especially given that we've got 25 sieves here. If we can get all of these upgraded with iron stiffened meshes and get speed upgrades into the mechanical user, we should really get quite a lot of stuff and quite a lot of sifting going real quick here, which is going to be quite nice for us indeed. So, in order to do that, let me look at getting a little bit of grid power. Now, grid power is one of those things that I really wish was like a little more complicated to get. Like, there are a few different ways you can get grid power. You have solar panels and lunar panels, which are basically day and night. You know, you can put down the solar panels, and during the day, they will generate 1 grid power. You can put down the lunar panels at night, they're going to generate 1 grid power. Then you've got lava mills, you've got water mills, you've got windmills, fire mills, the manual mill, which you grind manually, a dragon egg mill, and then I think that's about it in terms of actually making grid power. But really, there's kind of like only one choice here, and that's the water mill, because the water mill is so much better, I believe, than all of the other mills at all. Like the lava mill, first you got to get lava, which is more expensive than water, and it doesn't even produce as much as the water does. And so I feel like we're just going to go ahead and make a couple of water mills here. I think these are just the easiest for us to make. And so for that, we need to get 6 stone. But this is really the hardest part of this recipe, because to get it, we need to get ourselves a resonator. And for a resonator, we have to get a block of charcoal or coal, 2 redstone, 1 resonating redstone crystal, and a bunch of iron. I think for the time being, I'm just going to go ahead and craft up pretty much all of our end shards into redstone. And by that, I mean, of course, do it the correct way. That is, put this in here and do something like this. And now that I think about it, I'm not going to do that because we actually don't have that much in the way of redstone. And so we might as well just make those as and when we're going to need them. But I do know for a fact we're going to need a manual mill as well. And so I guess for the time being, we should go ahead and make a third one of these at the very least. 1 for the resonator, 1 for the watermill, and 1 for the manual mill to get things going. Do you need that for... Yeah, you also need it for the solar panels as well, I guess. So we are going to have to make those no matter what. So we might have to end up like sifting a little bit more redstone. And by redstone, I mean dust in today's stream, but that's fine. So let's have a look here. Let's get ourselves a resonator. For that, just need some iron. All right, that's not a problem. Not a problem whatsoever. We should probably keep putting iron into here because I'm going to need quite a bit of it throughout the course of today's stream. So whenever we take a block out, we should probably pump 9 back in just to make sure we're constantly on top of the iron. Redstone we've got, and then the block of coal also shouldn't be too hard for us to do. We've got so much coal in that chest. It's actually crazy. It should make getting like power gen early on real easy if we get like a coal generator or just a Stirling generator or something like that. We should be able to get just a bunch of power pumping nice and quickly. And so we don't even need to wait for that to finish to get our first resonator up and running. And then in terms of getting the manual mill, we just need to get ourselves 4 redstone torches, which requires just a little bit of wood, which thankfully we have due to our bonsai pots. We even have it already in stick form, which is just fantastic. So I will take 4 of you. We've got just enough in the way of wood planks, and all we need now is polished stone, which, if memory serves me right, is something like this. It is indeed good stuff. You craft 4 stone bricks together into making polished stone. Craft that all up, and we get a manual mill, which if we put down somewhere in the world with our resonator, you don't have to place this down next to it or even attached to it. You can put it down, you know, at the other end of the base, and it would still work just fine. All we need to do now is throw some stone. I think it's actual stone, right? Not cobblestone. Into the resonator here to make stone burn. Let's have a look. It is... Oh, it's polished stone, of course. So we need to craft up, again, more stone bricks into some more polished stone. Drop that polished stone into the resonator. And then if we begin crafting up the manual mill here, we should, hopefully, get some stone burn. Here we go. How much stone burn do we have? We have got ourselves 9 stone burn, which should be enough for the time being. I'm going to quickly chomp down on a little bit of epic bacon just to get our hunger back up to full here. And whilst I'm on that track, whilst I'm on that train of thought, I'm also going to go and quickly grab like a bunch of the clay that we have. I'm pretty sure that somewhere in here, I really thought we had more clay. Did I craft it all into grout? Clay. Do I just have the 2 clay right now? Ah, that sucks. Okay, so what I'm going to do real quick is I'm just going to grab a bunch of clay, and I'm going to try and make more bonsai pots, because I really want to get to the point where we don't have to worry about food too much. I really want to get to the point where we've just got like a ton of apples being made in multiple hopping bonsai pots with apple trees, and so that all I have to do is grab some cobblestone, craft that cobblestone into stone crafting tables, and then smelt up my apples into those cooked apples, which are such a good source of food, especially in the early game here, given how easy they are to make. So essentially all I'm going to do here is just smelt these up in our furnace. Again, might as well use the stone crafting tables there. That should get us quite a lot in the way of clay bricks, aka standard bricks, which we can then use to make our bonsai pots. The bonsai pots are super cheap. It's just 1 iron and then 5 brick. You do have to craft it with a hopper to make it into a hopping bonsai pot. But again, we've got a ton of iron right now. In fact, I might even go ahead and quickly grab this iron and try and automate this process just a little bit so that we can get all of our iron in one go. Do we have a chest lying around? It doesn't look like we do. What the heck did I just press? X? Add block to exceptions. Excuse me? Place animation. Particles. At what? Excuse me? Does anyone know what this is? So yeah, let's grab some bricks. And whilst we wait for the rest of those to smelt up, let's go ahead and quickly craft up a standard vanilla hopper, which I'm going to put on the front of the smeltery controller so that we can just automatically pump our iron in there continuously. And whilst we're at it, we should probably look at making a redstone clock from Extra Utilities 2. That's going to allow us to just automatically pull out all of the blocks into all of the iron in block form here into the casting basin. And so if we just do this and then not that is incorrect. I want to do that. That's going to automatically pull all the iron blocks out. And then finally, if we craft up yet one more hopper here, we should be able to automatically pull all of that iron out of the casting basin and into yet another chest. And so we could probably do a storage drawer here, I guess, because we're only going to be doing iron for the time being. But just to future-proof a little bit, I guess we might as well go ahead and do something like this and like this. Nice. So that should go ahead and just pull those out continuously. We are definitely going to pull out, you know what, just to make this easier on myself and on my sanity, real quick here, I'm just going to pull out the 3 ingots of aluminium brass that we have, because otherwise we're going to pull out the iron too fast. The aluminium brass is going to end up in the casting basin. It's going to block everything up, and it's just going to make life so much more difficult. And so instead, all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab like every single one of those iron pieces. I'm assuming that we can press K, maybe. No, I can't press K on this. I can't use the fun compress key to make this work. Excuse me. Oh no, I've got no space in my inventory. Give me a second here, chat. Give me a second. If I press K after I drop something, will that work? Oh, I like it. I like it. So all we got to do is just drop some stuff out of our inventory, and then if we just fill our inventory up with these iron ore pieces and we press Shift K, Shift K, Shift K. It doesn't craft as many as I would like at once. I was really hoping it would do all of them, but that's still quite a bit faster, I think, than having to craft them all individually. Like now we can just drop all of these into here, and we've got a nice continuous source of iron ingots there, which is fantastic. We've got 8 blocks waiting for us in the smeltery, and so now all we got to do is just throw this guy down like so, and that should just keep producing iron for us, which is quite nice. It does everything up to the left, so you need to Shift K the bottom right stack. So hold on a second here. Let me test this. So if I was to get, sure, let's compress these blocks of this coal here into blocks of coal. If I spread all these out and I open up my portable crafting table on a stick and I shift click K on the bottom rightmost one, is it going to do all of them? It does. It's weird in that it leaves one in every single slot. That is a bit bizarre, but it totally works though. I dig that. I totally dig that. All right, we'll throw you back in there. That is fine. I'm guessing if you have like a good number, like a number that is divisible by 4 or 9, depending on what you're trying to do, Shift K'ing will work as intended. Like if I do that, Shift K. See, that's still a bit weird. That's still kind of weird. The fact that there are 8 chunks here and it doesn't, if I just press K on those, the fact that it doesn't take all of those is a little bizarre. If I Shift K, click, that works. But like if you have them spread out, I mean, it's a small thing, right? Like, that's not a big problem, but still. A pipe would be better than a redstone clock, to be honest. Yes, this is true. That is definitely true. Like some kind of fluiduct, maybe, from thermal expansion. Like just 2 copper and a lead ingot could work quite nicely. I don't think we've quite got what it takes yet to make the conduits from Ender.io, like the fluid conduits, do require fused glass, which I'm pretty sure means that we have to go through and make the alloy smelter, right? Or at least the basic alloy smelter. So we can't really do that just yet, but that's fine. Also, I'm not in such a rush to get iron. Like, I think this will do fine for the time being. Like, it's up and running and it's working. And it's probably going to get us the iron fast enough. So I'm just going to leave that as it is for the time being. Let's grab all of these bricks. And so, essentially, all we're going to do here is just craft up a bunch of bonsai pots. I don't really think we need that many. Is this wood in the middle here? Is it really that cheap? I thought it was iron, which would have made it a little bit expensive. Is it just a piece of wood? I have forgotten the recipe for the bonsai pot. It's dirt. That makes a lot more sense than wood or iron. We'll throw a piece of dirt in there. We don't need 12 bonsai pots, I don't think. I think for the time being, like 5 will probably be fine. And so if we quickly go and craft up 5 hoppers, we can turn all of those nice and easily into hopping bonsai pots, thus allowing us to get just a ton of wood, a ton of apples, and not really have to worry about any of this going forward, which is very nice indeed. Let's go ahead and craft all of those up. And then in terms of making an apple sapling, I think we are going to have to grow just a couple of standard oak saplings first to try and get our first 2 apples. Again, because if memory serves me right, I'm fairly certain that it's 3 apples and 1 oak sapling to make an apple oak sapling. Check the drop chance in JEI. I think oaks and apple oaks both have 20% apple chance. Really? Let's have a look. Apple. Chance 20%, and then apple, oak, apple, oak. You are correct. It is also 20%, and so there is really no point in us crafting apple oak saplings. It would appear that all we need to do is just throw down the standard oak saplings, and they will do the job just fine. Again, this is very temporary. We're going to move these pretty soon. Actually, I guess it probably makes more sense, if I'm thinking about it, to do something like... Well, first of all, for us to make an axe so that I don't have to keep breaking these by hand. But it probably makes a bit more sense for us to make 2 double chests and 1 single chest like that. Right? Boom, 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 and boom. Nice. So they're not the quickest thing in the world, but slowly and surely, over time, that will go ahead and produce a bunch of wood, but more importantly, a bunch of apples, which we can then go ahead and throw into our furnace, cook them up into normal apples, taking it from half a heart of hunger and half a heart of saturation, all the way up to 4 hearts of hunger and 6 chicken legs worth of saturation. That is fan-freaking-tastic. I love it. It's so good. So, now that that is done, we've got apples ready to go. We've got apples being cooked up for us, slowly but surely. And so whenever we're hungry, we can just come and grab those, throw them into the furnace, and we've got a nice, cool source of food. Over here, we've got iron being made continuously, which is quite nice. All of those iron blocks being pumped out into the chest. We do have the mechanical user that is automatically sieving, or ready to automatically sieve over in here. All we need to do now is go ahead and collect all of the stuff that comes out of that sieve. I did miss a bonsai pot there, but that is now ready to go. Maybe? It says oak sapling, but it's not growing? Is it? It was the torch? Excuse me? No. What? That stops it? Oh, they grow taller than 1 block. That's interesting. So you can't have a torch above a bonsai pot like that. That's interesting. I guess I'll get rid of that and put... We don't need that many torches, I guess, but that's interesting. I never knew that was the case. What a bizarre setup. Now that's set up, the next thing I want to work on is automatically picking up all of the stuff that is acquired by sifting with the mechanical user. Now, to do that, we are going to go ahead and make ourselves a vacuum hopper, specifically the vacuum hopper from open blocks, which requires 1 piece of obsidian, 1 hopper, and then 1 eye of the ender. Now, to get the eye of ender, we, of course, need blaze powder, and to get blaze powder, we, of course, have to go, I think, I was going to say to the nether, but I'm actually fairly certain that we can sift for it if we sift dust. Maybe? Yeah, okay, so we don't have to go to the nether, but if we open up our quest book, which I believe I left off in our small storage crate here, I'm fairly certain that there is a quest for the nether, and so whilst we're at it, we might as well look towards maybe making 10 obsidian, although as I say that, I realize that we don't have lava automated, and so that might be a little bit more difficult than I make it out to be, but... What we can do, hopefully quite easily here, is make ourselves a stone barrel, throw this guy down, I guess for now, just like right about there. Again, very temporary, and if we throw in a bucket of lava, and then top that off with a bucket of water, which we are going to very quickly pick up, because I don't want it to float everywhere, that gets us our very first piece of obsidian, which of course, we're going to use for that not hopping bonsai pot, we're going to use it for the absorption hopper. We should really, I think, look into automating this crucible. Right now, it's smelting at a rate of 3x. The questbook does give us information on how we can make that faster. We also might want to look at getting that set up quickly. Like, fire is 5. So if we go and get, like, 1 piece of nether and I can light that on fire, we've automatically just increased the smelting speed there permanently. The mega torch is 10, which we might actually be able to make. I don't know if it's worth it, because it does require we use both of our 2 diamonds, as well as 2 blocks of gold. The 2 blocks of gold are not going to be too bad. We've got 47 gold here, which is like 11 blocks worth of 11 ingots worth, which is 11 chunks, which is 22 ingots, which is, more than 2 blocks. So we could make this, but I think it's probably going to be in our best interest to try and go straight for the yellorium. We don't have any yellorium, and I've got a sneaking suspicion that you don't get yellorium until you upgrade to a diamond stiffened mesh, is going to be my assumption. Oh no, you do get it from iron, and it's a 1% chance. I'm starting to think maybe I didn't sift sand. I think I sifted gravel and dust with the iron stiffened mesh. I don't think I sifted sand with the iron stiffened mesh, which is why I think we don't have any yellorium. But if we only need 9 yellorium to get up to a 20 times multiplier on the crucible here, I think what I might do real quick is just get a bunch of sand, throw it into... Oh, but you know what? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let me get 1 blaze powder. Let's craft that up with 1 ender pearl to make an eye of ender. Let's just make the vacuum hopper, put it down, and then put the sand in. I was going to try and put the sand in before I made the vacuum hopper, but that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. We'll just take you, we'll go make 1 more vanilla hopper, and we will be just good to go. It is an 8% chance, yeah. That's a 1 times 8. Oh, excuse me, good sir. This is not a open for business permit shop. I am not inviting you into my place of residence. Please become deceased. I am currently at 0 deaths on this server and would very much so like to retain that legacy. Holy heck, get the freaking torches down in here. Jeez. Can't handle that. Why vacuum hopper? No item collectors in the pack. Item collector. These ones here from random things. I assume these are going to be more expensive. They are. Like, they're better. But it does require 3 obsidian. And I have 1 obsidian. But anyway, yeah. So that's really the only reason why we're going to use the vacuum hopper. We can change it later to the faster item collector once we've got obsidian automated and once we've got lava automated. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and combine all of this up, of course, with a hopper. Like so. And nice. All right. So for now, I'm going to whack this guy down. I think putting it here should do just fine. And if I output on, not that side, if I output on this side, right here, that's going to push all the items directly into that small storage crate. It might not quite reach over here, at which point we might have to move this little setup that we've got, but we can go ahead and test that real quick. If I drop in some sand, let's see if that can collect everything in the area. Hopefully it will. Maybe. Did something change here? I don't need grid power for this, do I? It does say grid power at the bottom there, but that's out of 0. Like, I don't think we actually need it. I'm going to take this out of there just to make sure. So, yeah, this uses no... That's weird. This uses no grid power, but if there's something else in the network that needs grid power, that's not going to work. That's interesting. Like, it stops working. That is interesting. So that kind of works. I think this is trying to get there, but it's just like it's getting... Oh, no, I guess it's not trying to get there. So, yeah, it looks like maybe that doesn't work. At which point, I guess that we might as well put the vacuum hopper, like, on top of the mechanical user instead. All right, let me get off the auto sifter real quick so I don't start picking up all the trash. But, yeah, we've already got our first piece of Yellorium, which is nice. I'm going to very quickly here grab, like, just a ton of cobblestone. Empty out my inventory of everything that's not cobblestone. And then Shift K to get all the compressed cobblestone. That does work. Yeah, again, it's such a bizarre little quirk, the fact that it leaves 1 in each slot. But anyway, give me that last piece of compressed cobblestone there. I think we might also need another 1, because I'm fairly certain my 1 broke between sessions when I was doing all my sifting. Again, might as well make an iron one here. We've got a good amount of iron at this point, so there's really no reason not to. And I might even go as far as to make like an iron hammer, like a compressed iron hammer, so we can mine just a little bit faster and get a little bit more durability out of it. Like, again, we've got so much iron that I really don't think it's going to matter too much. We can get more iron so quickly, right, that it just seems silly not to. So we'll go for 8 more of those, craft those up. Can I Shift K these? No. I guess that's because there's only 1 of them, right? And it doesn't like doing that last one. But we can always go ahead and just do something like that. Grab our wand and start throwing down all of this compressed cobblestone. So now we've got a ton of sand. I'm just going to go ahead and whack this into our mechanical user. I guess we also should probably... I mean, it doesn't really matter, I don't think. I was going to say we should probably look at upgrading the rest of our flint stiffened meshes to iron stiffened meshes. But really, given that this is automatic, I guess we can I can wait and do that between streams. You know, it's just a case of getting all the iron, getting all the string, and just crafting them and replacing them, which can be a little bit tedious, really. So I'll do that kind of between episodes. For now, the next thing I want to do is kind of harken back to the grid power a little bit and look at making ourselves a watermill. If we can get a watermill, we can look at putting the speed upgrades in, looking at making our stuff just a little bit faster. We do already have a little bit in the way of stone burnt. Let me grab that. Let me grab the redstone. Let's also grab that 1 resonating redstone crystal. And then finally, let's also grab some sticks as well. Now, we do need 8 redstone torches, and we've got 9 redstone in total, so it looks like we are going to have to do a little bit of dust sifting fairly soon here if we want to keep up with the crafting, because we are almost out of redstone, which is not the best, but is an easily fixable situation. Grab both of you, and then kapow, good stuff. And so, if memory serves me right, I'm fairly certain that all we need to do here is grab 2 buckets of water. Again, eventually we'll set up an area specifically for the watermills, because we're going to have more watermills than we have right now. But for now, I'm just going to grab my iron hammer, which I made between sessions to make clearing out areas a little easier. This thing is super cheap to make, by the way. It's just 2 more iron than a pickaxe, and you can do the 3x3 mining, which I really like. Again, we could probably use extra utilities, and by that I mean Tinker's Construct to make a better hammer that is repairable. but for now, we're going to throw down a watermill. We're going to throw down a water bucket. We're going to grab one more water bucket real quick and throw that down in the other corner. If you put one source block in each corner of this, that should produce 16 grid power, which is a crazy amount of grid power. And so now, not only does our resonator work automatically, if we put the polished stone in there, it's going to automatically produce that stone burnt without us having to grind on the manual mill, which is quite nice, but instead, I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to see how much grid power is required to start using these speed upgrades. So, you'll see it's going quite slowly here. If I put in 1, how much grid power does that require? It requires 1 grid power. If I put in 16, it requires 23, so that's too much. If I put in 8, look at that, though. Look at that speed increase. I like it. That's quite nice. And then if we bump that up to maybe 12, 12 is just too much. I'm going to bump that down to 11. 11 seems to be okay. So 1 watermill seems to do just fine. I'm really annoyed that that's not being sucked up there. But that's already going quite a bit faster than it was before, which is real nice. Real nice indeed. And already we're up to that 9 yellorium that we need. And so if we just go ahead and smelt that up in our furnace here, we'll have that block of yellorium in no time, which is quite nice. Isaac's base is something straight out of an unaesthetic page on Twitter. What do you mean? It's beautiful. It's got the stone on the walls, the big old crates, the holes in the wall. Oh, put a crate over the hopper. It's not symmetrical. Is that better? I guess in that way as well, we're not going to get things stuck on the crate either, right? Like everything should make its way into the crate just fine, which is quite nice. The next step, I guess, is getting to the point where we are automatically making the sand. So, we're taking the cobblestone directly out of the cobblestone generator, which we can probably look into upgrading as well fairly soon here, and then having that be turned from cobblestone to gravel, gravel into dirt, dirt into sand, sand into dust, and sieving all of those individually. We probably don't need to auto-sieve dirt. Like, I don't think there's anything like that we get from sieving dirt that we need a large amount of, really. And so we can probably hold off on sifting that, but we should definitely be sifting gravel for the diamonds and the emeralds and the lapis and the coal, sieving sand for the yellorium, I guess, as well as for those prosperity shards, which we use to get into mystical agriculture, as well as sifting dust to get things like redstone, blaze powder, bone meal. You get the idea. So really, we do want to be sifting all 3 of those where possible. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's do something like that, get a block of yellorium, and if the science is right, we should be able to pick up this crucible, hopefully without it falling into the lava, good stuff. And then my thought process here is that if we just do a little, okay, chat, it's gonna look a little bad, okay? Look at that 20, look at the top there, 20x. Oh, I love it. You don't need me to tell you that it's gonna look bad, right? Like, it's gonna look bad. When you come to the Gaming on Caffeine live stream, it's gonna look bad. But what we can do now is we can pull the cobblestone out of there automatically into the crucible and then up and out into some form of tank. Now, we've only got 1 redstone, and if we were going to make something like the item conduit from Ender.io, we'd need the alloy smelter, so we can't do that. And if we're going to use the item duct from thermal expansion, we need to get a redstone servo to automatically pull out. And so, even though they are just 100% almost objectively maybe the worst kind of pipe in the game, I'm going to use, I think, a little bit of Buildcraft pipes. It's been so long since I've used Buildcraft pipes, and so I'm thinking what I might do here is I might use Buildcraft pipes and Redstone engines to pull out of here. What do you need? I'm guessing you need redstone for a Redstone engine, right? Do you need a piston? You need a piston. That's only 1 redstone though, so that we can do that. We've got 1 redstone, right? Here we go. Here we go. This is the old school way of transferring items, right? This is the oldest school you can get. You get 2 of these gears, which are invisible, but that's fine. Who needs gears that you can see, right? You get a piston. You get... Can I make these, please? Are these not makeable? This item is disabled. I mean, if it's disabled, then why... There is a... Let's make... Fine. You've cracked me, game. I will make... Can I not do this? Does it have to be maple wood? Excuse me? Wooden gear from Ender.io? If it's disabled, then why is it the default in the freaking menu? We can get it out of common loot bags, I guess. Do we have any? Let me check here. Can you make a server already? We've only got 1 redstone. Oh, we got more redstone here. Technically, we could make a server, but I don't want to make a server. I want to make an old school Buildcraft Redstone engine setup. Is what I want to try to do. There are multiple gears here. The Tesla cap. Oh, it's logs, not sticks. That's fine. So if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, that also not going to work. Excuse me. he did the wrong recipe. There we go. Okay, that goes 4 gears. Let's craft up this guy. I'm also pretty sure I had glass, right? Is it in here? No, I'll get more. That's fine. Let's go ahead and make a redstone engine. So for those who don't know, the way this works is you can go ahead and do something a little bit like this. You need a wooden transport pipe to extract. You can then use any of the other pipes pretty much like cobblestone, stone, quartz, iron, gold, clay, etc. To transfer the items. I'm going to use cobblestone, again, just because it's cheap and we have it. Gold, I think, is the fastest, but cobblestone should be fast enough for the time being, given that the crucible here is not particularly quick. And so we'll do something like... maybe I do want to use iron, actually, now that I think about it, because the cobblestone one you'll see here, I don't think it's actually going to try and put stuff in there, but it might actually try and put... cobblestone can't go into here, but it might try put cobblestone in here because these pipes are not particularly smart, which might result in cobblestone just spewing out onto the floor. And so what I think I might do instead is make iron pipes like so, because iron pipes have the unique ability, I believe, to block off a direction. That might be the right way to do it. I'm not quite sure. So essentially, the way you can power these pipes and get them to actually extract is you put down some form of engine. In this case, we're using a redstone engine. Other engines are available and are faster. But the redstone engine is pretty slow to start with, but gets faster as time goes by. And so ideally here... Oh, okay, so that's going the wrong way. That's not the way I want it to go. That's fine. Let me... I don't think it matters how I place this. I think it's always going to do that. I think I'm going to have to make a wrench from Buildcraft. And then if I right-click this, we can rotate it so that it looks like that. And now if I do this, items can come in through these kind of like opaque sides and go out into the crucible here. Look at that. Oh,